Okay, here's my homemade console. I'm going to show you how I made this. As you can see, it lights up in the front. I'll give you a better picture of that in the daylight. I mean, in the dark, it'll shine a lot better. Let the cup holders light up. Got bone slots. Got some slots down in there. Charging ports. I'll show you how I made all that stuff as well. Got some in the back here. Also, I don't know if you can see them, my phone. But I'll show you how I made this console. Okay, pardon me for my cluttered up little desk here, but what we're making today is jacks for these. Yes, I said I need to add these to my truck because they didn't come with a whole bunch of them back in 1993. Just took a piece of 3/4 inch copper pipe. I cut several lengths. I got 5 of them here that I chose. I cut like 8 of them. And I went through and picked out the ones that are closest to size because I'm not a perfect plumber here. But these are all pretty even on top, and these are all wrong. I just used my rigid pipe cutter here. Cut my pipe. And then I have a hole hog. Some people call them a unibit. And I just reamed them out like this. So your little plug will slip right down in there. Now notice these are 1.5 inches long. Your little plug pin there, you got to be able to push down. Now I used 2 pieces of plastic here. What I did is I took them like this, and I masking taped the edge on both sides, and I drilled pilot holes first. I drilled like I wrote top, see, top and top. This one's clear, it's 1/4 inch thick, and this one's about 3/16 of an inch thick, a black piece. Now these are just scraps I had laying around, but I used this little hole saw. This is a 7/8 hole saw. I think that's what it says. It says 22 millimeter, maybe. I gotta get my glasses on here, can't read it. Okay, it's 7/8 or 22 millimeter. I cut it all the way through my top one, my black one, and these fit perfect on the outside diameter. Now my clear one, I took this to my drill press, and I have a depth gauge on my drill press, so I couldn't cut all the way through, so I cut halfway through with the hole saw, just halfway through on my drill press. So these just fit down in there, like that. And I'm going to use my JB Weld that I use to fix my grill. I'm going to glue these in down there. But first, before I do that, I have these brass screws. These brass screws are I'm gonna put down in the very bottom here. This is going to be the positive contact point. There's the wife calling. Give me a sec. Okay, went ahead and cleaned these up inside and out really good and polished. Mixed up some JB Weld. Just gonna dip this in there like this. Get some on there. Stick them in that. Went ahead and drilled my mounting screws first in each corner before I put this on there. I know this is an ugly glue job, but you'll never see it. It'll be inside. And I left my protective cover on the black side until I mounted in the console. I drilled these holes, probably didn't need to for mounting because I'm getting ready to cut some wood to put on here, but I'm getting ready to take my Dremel and cut these down. Now I use these countersunk flat top screws, brass. The only reason is because that's what I have available. You could use button top ones or whatever, even shorter ones if you go buy this stuff. I thought about using these brass paper clip things, but I want them held solid. And I'm going to solder my wires to the brass instead of using eye crimps or whatever. You can do whatever, but I prefer soldering. It'll last longer, cheaper. Plus I'm going to put LEDs under by each one of these. That's why I put the clear on the bottom, and I want less wires to block the light. Getting ready to cut these down to where there's only about 1/8 of an inch sticking out with my Dremel. Okay, I know Radio Shack ain't in business anymore. Luckily I got some of this rosin soldering flux. Put a dab on each spot I just cut off with the Dremel because it's freshly clean. And my wire here, now it's going to be inside so it doesn't matter. But I'm going to start at this point right at the end of the red. And I'm going to put a little rosin on each spot as I solder it. Okay, I couldn't for the life of me to get this ground wire to solder to these outside of these pipes. I don't know if it should have been hotter, should have probably done it with the torch where I glued all this together on it. So what I did is I tied it all in knots, soldered the knots. Every time I wrapped it around each pipe, tied a knot around it, and I soldered the knots so the knots can't come out or anything, and then I put a zip tie on each one, and it's working. I'll turn on my power supply and show you. See if I can find one of these that works best. See, that light's coming on. That light's coming on. I don't know if you can see them. Turn this light off. See, those lights are coming on. So it does work, and they're nice and snug. It's better than the cigarette lighter if you want to know the honest truth. And things are locked in there tight, and they work pretty good. Just getting ready to do some LED. I'm going to put LED by each one as well. That's why I put the clear, so when it's inside the console you'll see a blue glow coming out of each one of these holes, so you aren't fighting looking for it in the dark. Okay, got my LEDs for when you turn the clearance lights or the parking lights, whatever you want to call them, go ahead. But I drilled holes and put blue LEDs and just super glued them in there. Got the ground just connected to the ground side of the outside of the pipes, just the positive. It doesn't hook to that, but this blue wire, because I have blue wire coming for my console, I want to just blue, red, and then just ground the black. Anyways, this here's aluminum shiny silvery tape. When I build my case, I'm going to line it with that that aluminum tape inside the box that's in the back here, because now I'm going to cut some pieces of wood with some grooves to wrap this thing. And I'll leave the back a little bit longer just so I can I'll put that aluminum tape and a way to mount it and everything. So anyways, I'll show you it lit up here. And you got to put resistors on these LEDs. They're not 12 volt. I just ordered a bunch of, you can buy your LEDs with resistors. This is what it came with. Just a little sleeve full. There's like little blue ones in there. I don't know if you can see them or not, but I just looked at the color codes and they're like 1500 ohms. I think that's what they were. I just matched the rings and bought a whole bunch more on eBay, so I have about 200 of them because I do a lot of projects with LEDs. But anyways, to reduce them down to 4.5 volts, you need those resistors on each one. And I just got my 12 volt power supply to show you. Okay, I just want to give you some progress so far before I put some more of this aluminum tape on there. this stuff. Just want to show you what's inside. It kind of helps brighten it all up inside there. I put some on the back sides of these pieces of wood, all along the inside here. I showed that to you earlier. As you can see now, the holes all light up good to stick the little plugs in there. Got 5 of them here. Flip this thing over. I sanded the top side here. It's going to get ABS, 3-inch ABS pipe, and holes cut in the top. Holes cut in the top of the wood with 3-inch ABS pipes that go down for cup holders, and also slots for holding telephones and whatnot. But you can see that the blue pin striping is, let me get it under here. The blue pin striping will look good inside the cab. It just kind of gives it a little neon look. Just took and sliced this on my table saw, the same thickness as the plastic here, and then I'll sand this down smooth. I already did the bottom one pretty good. I just still got to do the top one. Then I'm going to stain this and coat it with some plastic, and it'll all be smooth, and it'll even help brighten that up more. But like I said, now I'm going to, I'll show you a test here. Just plug those in there like that. It'll work. All these little things are going to be handy. This one's just kind of a piece of junk. It's not the plug, it's the charger itself. But got a better one here. See, they got 5 more slots now to plug chargers and stuff in. Like I said, I'm going to run holes up through the lid, the part of the lid, to run all your cords through. So these things are all down hidden underneath inside the console and out of the way. I hate cords getting in the way. I'll show you how I'm going to work all that shortly.